Welcome back. In this video what I'm going to do is take you through drawing the heel. So I'll just zoom in on that. So I'm going to draw the rand over here. I'm going to draw the heel and the sole of the shoe. So let's get started with that. Here I have a question for you, and that is, hopefully you did save a copy of that shoe, because we're going to need to use that to create the heel and the sole. I also asked you to save a copy of it in the symbols library. So if you have unfortunately not saved it there, but hopefully saved it as a symbol, you'll be able to take that out and use it. Remembering that when you do use a symbol, you click onto the symbol and drag it onto your work area. You will notice that there's a little cross in the middle of it and it is ineditable. What you need to do to make that editable is to break the link to the symbol. So if I click onto that little icon over there once, immediately my symbol becomes editable. So let's go back here. I need this for two reasons. One is because I want to copy that bottom line over there, and two, I want to create the view of the other side, this view over here. I think I'll start with that view first. What I'll do first of all is make a copy of that. So I'm just going to press the keyboard shortcut Alt and move that copy out the way. On this shoe here, I'm going to go to my direct selection, select that top path and just move that out. So I'm just manipulating the handle a little, and now with my selection tool, click onto that anchor and snap to point. Once I've got that in place, I'll just make the inside color a little bit darker just to differentiate, and now with my direct selection I will edit that shape a little bit. So you'll do that to a point where you're satisfied with it. You will remember that before we chop the shoe into pieces, as you know, because you've created that piece over there, we have a copy of it over here. All I need from this copy now is just the bottom piece. We are ready to use this piece. Make sure that you still got it as a symbol so you don't lose it, because I'm actually going to get rid of everything except for that line. With my direct selection, I marquee over the top end of that shoe. I select all the anchor points up here. I've used my direct selection, my white arrow, selected all those anchor points, and now I'm deleting them. I'm going to remove the fill and I'm going to put a color into the stroke. So I'm going to use bright green. So I've moved the line down and now I want to align it with that anchor point over there. So I select it, bring it up, and I align it. Zooming in makes it a lot easier to align things properly. And then you see when the arrow goes to white that I've snapped it in place. Before I start, I'm going to make a copy of this line. So I rest my mouse on that line. I've selected it. I press the Alt key, and as you see, a double arrow comes up. Using my direction keys, I click down once and then remove my fingers from the Alt or Option key and then move that line down. The first line, I'm going to make a copy of that to the back. So edit copy, edit paste in back. This one I'm going to change the color to deep blue, and I'm going to change the size of the stroke to about 6. It's quite a good size for a rand. I'm looking at what comes out from underneath the line. I'll make it 7, but I also would like it to be a bit curved over here. So I come into my stroke panel, show options again, and select rounded, and then I'll close that stroke panel. Now I'm ready to create a shape for this so that it can be the rand. I'll come into Object, Expand, and just expand the stroke. So you'll notice that instead of it being a stroke, I'm just going to go Command Z. So from being a stroke, I went Object, Expand, and expanded stroke. It turned into a shape. That's what I'm looking for. What we have here is the line that you turned into a shape behind the line that we originally used. Select the line that you turned into a shape, arrange, and send that all the way to the back. So there it sits. With this line, what you can do is make your keyboard increment quite small. Let's make it 0.5. Okay, and let's just nudge that down a little bit. 0.5 was perfect. Here I can put in my single needle stitch as wide as it is, or if you wanted to, you could make that round stitching the same size as the other stitch. I believe it should be a little bit heavier, and on the round I'll put a black stroke. Remember the piece that we copied? I'm going to take that back up to where I would like it to finish. Just take it a little bit higher than this line over here, and I'll make a copy of that. I'll change the color first though before I make that copy to lilac. Press Alt and make that copy. I'm happy with that. Now I come to my pen tool, and what we'll do is rest our mouse on that anchor point over there, come up to the edge of the round and close the shape. Here what we'll do is just cut the line over here for the heel shape, so the heel will start over here. So let's do that. I'll come down to the scissor tool, which is underneath the eraser tool, and I'm going to cut that path. So I rest the scissor tool on the path and cut. Back to selection tool, and I'm going to drop the heel down until it's this far away from that line. So with my arrow keys I take that down, and now I'm ready to complete this heel. Pen tool, selection tool. Having finished that, I'm going to put a fill in there and a black stroke. I'm going to arrange and send to back, and I'm going to just come in and fix up some details over here. So over here I'd like that to come a little closer. Don't worry about what happens inside there. Going to the other side, I'm going to zoom in here and just do a little bit of editing. So I'm using my direct selection, dragging that back a little just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And over here with my pen tool, I'm going to just drag out a little handle and take that stitching around. Selection tool. So what I'd like to do over here is actually bring that heel down a little and just curve it a tiny little bit. So I'm using my anchor point tool and I'm just curving that heel a little bit over there, and I'll curve it out a little bit over there. I'm going to copy this line, direct selection, select the line between the two anchor points, edit copy, edit paste in front, Control C, Control F, selection tool, remove the fill and move that up. So I'm taking it up to that point there. With my direct selection, I'm going to just do a little bit of editing here. And once more, edit copy, Command C or Control C, edit paste in front, Command or Control F. And let's move it up a little bit using the direction keys. Just take that across. And as we did with the holes, we're going to use the blend tool to do the same over here. I'm going to put 2 rows between those rows, so I'll double click on the blend tool, specified steps 2 and OK. So now I can blend the 2 lines. Resting your mouse on the first line and very carefully on the second line, it'll make the 2 lines between them. Over here, if you want to, you can do a little bit of editing. So I feel as if this line needs to have less of a curve in it, and then it'll blend the lines between those 2 lines. I'm also going to make the actual weight of that line a little bit lower. So I select my line, I come into stroke or 0.5. I'm ready now to do the rubber at the bottom of the shoe. Direct selection, Command C, Command F for front, V to go to my black arrow, and Alt to just make a copy of that line. So this time you can actually count how many times you go down. So 1, 2, 3. With my pen tool, you'll see the / and I can join those 2 lines together. And here I can put my black rubber in. Let's do the same over here. direct selection, highlight the line. Now I've got one anchor point over there. If I hold shift, I can pick up the other anchor point over there and my last anchor point over there. Command C, Control C to copy, Command F, Control F to paste in front. So zooming in, what I can do is actually select the original line and that line and just move them out the way a little, and here I can complete the shape. So click and close the shape. On the other side as well, click and close. I can eyedrop that back to my selection tool, and I've now got a little bit of rubber on that sole. Here we can actually do a little bit of editing to get that looking right. So I'll zoom in. So you can come in and do a tiny bit of editing here if you want to. I'm going to actually move that back a little with my arrows. And remember, that's my bottom line over there. And that's the end of the sole. The next video, I'm actually going to do the top view of this shoe.